Hello, it's Pete C for Sampler Review, and today I'm checking out the emotional solo string series from Best Service. 6 years ago, Best Service and Harmonic Subtones first introduced us to the emotional cello, the first in their solo string series. Over the years, there have been several updates with the violin and viola now added to the lineup. Promising to be emotional, agile, and also contain articulations like no other, the demos certainly speak for themselves. With so many solo string instruments on offer, what makes the emotional series stand out from the crowd? Today I will take a good look at the emotional violin, emotional cello, and emotional viola from Best Service. The violin downloads at 6.41GB, with the viola at 4.37GB and the cello at 13GB. There are a huge amount of articulations for each instrument, and there is also dynamic controlled legato. There are also both articulation and ornament key switches, and each instrument runs on the Kontakt player 5.7.3 or better and are all NKS compatible. Each instrument sells for €199 each. So before we look at the instrument in detail, I did a quick mock-up. I had about 20 minutes just to put something together, and I really went for the emotional aspect of these instruments. And it's a really good example of what they sound like out of the box without too much tweaking. I've put my master chain on and a touch of reverb here and there, and that's about it. So let's have a quick listen. So out of the box, the instruments are very, very playable. They sound absolutely fantastic. And what I've done now is I've loaded up the Intimate violin, and I've removed all external processing of reverb, so it is just out of the box. And we have the delicate articulation going on. And they just sound absolutely gorgeous. You can hear the bow sort of resonating as this string is being played, and yeah, it just sounds really full of character, but incredibly clean as well. It's incredibly expressive, and a lot of that is down to the controls at the bottom. So first of all, you can actually see right in the sort of middle, the legato changing, and that's all through velocity. And the mod wheel controls the crossfade, and you have the portamento velocity, so you can adjust that. It's set to 29, so if you play incredibly softly, you trigger the portamento, and you can also adjust that if you want to. And then the bow change velocity is set to 84. So if I play a little bit harder, you get the bow change. And of course I'm using the mod wheel just to give maximum expression. And then it's a case of, on the left hand side, you have all of these different articulations. Now, if you are concerned about the memory consumption, because it is 1.27 gigabytes, you can just offload anything you don't want to use. So let's say there's a Paganini staccato. In fact, let's hear what that sounds like before I get rid of it. So let's say we don't like that. I actually do like that, obviously, but let's say we don't. And I've got spiccato. Sounds amazing. And then, yeah, let's just play through a few more. Pizzicato, which is always the hallmark of a good library for me. Sounds ace. Bit of double stopping there. Long spiccato. Amazing. And I love the room sound. So I will obviously look at these a little bit later, but you have different effects, and obviously your reverb and your room sound is on that page, but it just sounds amazing out of the box. And then you've got the delicate, which is one of my favourite. It's just a gorgeous legato. Short. Then progressive vibrato. Now vibrato is something I talk about quite a lot. I love when you can control the vibrato, and you can't control the vibrato using sort of automation lanes or anything, but you have lots of different vibrato styles. And I have to admit, about a year ago I was like, you must be able to control vibrato. Now there are so much sort of advancements, and everything's tempo synced to your DAW, and all these sort of baked-in vibratos sound fantastic in these instruments. So I think Harmonic Subtones have done an absolutely great job of, you sort of don't really mind if there's no vibrato control, because what they've got in there is absolutely perfect. So here's an example, progressive vibrato. That's kind of exactly how I would draw my vibrato in. So it's sort of progressive and gets wider as it goes on. So then here's an adagio slow. And then obviously, if you want to mix up the vibratos, you just use the key switches, so the red keys, just to change those. So you just wouldn't be able to tell the difference between a live player. Absolutely love those stops there. Lyrical flow. So it's kind of like your more agile playing. Absolutely great. So that's the lyrical slow. And you can see there also, I know there's legato, but it's also polyphonic legato. So if you want to play chords, well, it was working. Okay. Maybe it isn't. So let's keep going anyway. Lyrical double bow. Tenderness. There's some sort of polyphonic playing. Well, it was. Okay, yeah, so it does. Spiccato run legato. Ace. Paganini run. Lovely. As a guitarist, obviously Paganini and sort of going through all the caprice and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, used to imitate those on guitar, and then be able to do it on violin would be absolutely incredible, and these sound great. So vibrato, sustain with some kind of crossfade. That's what I'm going to go with. Crossfade E. And I'm guessing the same patch but without vibrato. Sustain. Yep, so definitely polyphonic. And then flautando, personal favourite articulation of mine. Absolutely stunning. Sol G, flautando. Brilliant. So we're getting to the more extended articulations, and it did say there's more articulations going on than your average library, and they're not wrong. And let's go. It does say weights on this. Godot vibrato. Hopefully that's right. And then tremolo. That's really quite snappy. Yeah, love that. Half tone trills. And whole tone trills. Lovely. So that's the articulations. Now, as I'm playing through them, every now and then something does... I keep saying it's polyphonic, but it probably isn't. So let's go back to the, let's say, tenderness. Sometimes I can trigger something to be polyphonic. But there are, if you look on the left-hand side, sustains, etc. So if I just load those very quickly. So these are sustained patches. So I think I'm just kind of triggering something that maybe I don't need to. Now, on the right-hand side, you have the ornaments as well. And these are the yellow keys. So if I, let's have a quick look. If I do the F sharp to the rise. And it adds a trill. So if I hold down the, let's say, D note, and run delicate. In fact, let's do progressive vibrato. And it crossfades into this new articulation, or sorry, this new ornament. So while you're playing, you can throw these ornaments in, just like a dash or a touch. And then let go, and it goes back to the articulation you've chosen. So in this case, progressive vibrato. And that's yeah, it just gives you like these flourishes and this sort of more humanistic feel. And if you're a player and you know you're great at doing one hand, mess around with the mod wheel and changing key switches, you're gonna have a great performance time with this. For me, I program that kind of thing in, but it's a case of just drawing, you know, a MIDI note in on the key switch you want. Yeah, and then the key switches down at the bottom are the first set. So if I go, to vibrato, mate. No, we want vibrato. Intensity. I could end the phrase with a fall. Okay. There you go. So that's essentially how this instrument works. Really, really limited, I'll say limited, expressive controls at the bottom. It's not limited, it's all you need, really. So they're limited with the amount of clutter that's on there. And you've got all these articulations, all these ornaments, and then you have different effects. You can turn the sordino on. You can change the timbres for us to turn the sordino off. So let's say I want delicate. Use the expression. Or I could go just dark. And it's that sort of room sound and everything. I don't know, just having like that character. Nice and warm, naturally tamed or natural tame. Yeah, I just fell off the controller there. So you can change the timbres, you can do some EQing. I'm not going to EQ, but that's going to sort of fit into your compositions really, really well. Having said that, I didn't touch any EQ when I did my little demo. Different room types, so medium scoring stage. And then let's go for something really big. Let's say a large scoring stage. So that's the room sound, and then you can change, or let's go to Vienna. So you can make the room, you can build that around whatever, let's say using a different orchestra and you want to build a similar sounding room, you can do just that using these controls. And then a little bit more. So this is like the expert. Now there's legato trimming. I leave this on auto mode, but you can adjust this, and it's just, you can change intensity of legato and just sort of have more control over the instrument. Pitch bend sensitivity, you can adjust that. There's micro tuning, so if you're playing not in standard tuning, or you're playing against an instrument or some authentic instruments, you can adjust that slightly. And then again, you can adjust the attack. Now there is poly legato is actually on, so maybe that's why I'm kind of triggering this polyphonic legato every now and then. So the last part is the credits, and these are the wonderful people who are responsible for these instruments. So yeah, that is the violin. Now what I'm going to do is turn off the mic and just play through some different instruments. Actually, if I just load up the emotional violin, so this is the main patch, okay, and again you have some slightly different articulations. So straight in there. So that's the passionate agile. Let's go vivid. Absolutely ace. Yeah, so there are so many articulations to go through. So we're going to move away from the violin. We'll look at the viola and the cello, and then there's a couple of extras as well, which, yeah, very, very cool. So that's all three instruments. So we have the cello, the viola and the violin, and it's what you can expect them to sound like out of the box. On the left hand side you have your different instruments, your NKI files. So if I open something like the Expressive, so I'm on the viola at the moment. There we go. So you now have a much smaller amount of articulations loaded. But of course, you're going to find different articulations in these patches. And then, so you got the, let's say, flageolet, glissando. So complete articulation on its own. And these are the examples of extras you're going to find. And then something bizarre like undulation, fair enough, but what does weight mean? I don't know. Let's try it. Okay, some cool effects going on there. Morbid sustain. Why is it morbid? Who knows? Let's hear it. And it sort of gets to a point where you're just going through and finding different sounds and experimenting and hearing some cool things going on. So, I mean, what is Angry Frog? Yeah, sounds pretty cool. Western spiccato? Sorry, pizzicato. Yeah. And so on and so forth. But one of the crucial things about this instrument, if I just load up the emotional viola again, in the ornamentation you have the option to rebow. So down here, if I'm playing a sustain, I can set when the rebow is. And you can also do a rebow to the end. And you'll see about sort of rebowing, and sometimes it happens randomly, so it's not really a lot on the bar or the beat like a player would do. But now you can actually sort that yourself. So yeah, really, really impressed. So you could spend ages of all three of these instruments just going through the extras, but the sheer wealth of articulation and ornament is going to keep you going for a long time. And like I say, it doesn't matter if you're a performer and you can whiz around the keyboard. I'm not so much of one, so I'd program this in, but programming this in is really, really straightforward. So all three instruments, incredibly useful straight out the box, and in my opinion, they do sound absolutely wonderful. My final thoughts about the emotional trio from Best Service and Harmonic Subtones are, out the box, it sounds gorgeous. The room tones are absolutely lovely and the sampling is really clean, it's pristine. But I did say what sets this aside. So yes, the instruments sound lovely, but the sheer amount of articulations and out there articulations and exploration you can do makes this library, or these libraries, completely unique. I love the fact you have ornaments on the yellow keys and you can just throw those in when you want, and then also you have your key switches on the left hand side. But it's little touches like the portamento velocity, the bow change velocity, and the fact all the legato is controlled by velocity is really, really useful for me. I love the range of tones, shorts, the longs, the sustains, the legato, everything is in there that you could possibly need. So for me, these instruments, these solo strings, come highly recommended. Thank you so much for checking out this review of the emotional solo strings from Harmonic Subtones and Best Service. If you like what you heard, feel free to leave us a like and let us know what you like about the instruments, how would you use them, what sort of genres or styles you might fit them into. If you've not done so already, please subscribe to our channel, check out our other videos on YouTube, and then head over to samplibreview.com to keep up to date with the world of virtual instruments. Until next time, have a great day and take care.